All right, we're going to continue to monitor this on your screen, but let's get more now. Amanda Manukian is here. She's a criminal defense attorney. Amanda, you're watching this live too. This is bombshell information that's coming out. Prosecutors knew that they had this, obviously. How does this affect the case?
Oh, tremendously. One of the issues with the prosecution's case before all this evidence came out was that they only had him researching a child in a hot car. I don't know that was necessarily enough as a defense attorney to show the intent to commit the murder, but now with the two life insurance policies on the child, including the wife's comment that he must have left the son in the car, all of that seems to be very damning, and it's surrounding a very strong circumstantial evidence for this defendant.
You know, Amanda, I know it's salacious, and some of it, again, we can't even repeat on television what this man was doing with photographs on his phone and, according to detectives, sexting them to several different women at the time that this child was dying. Digital playing a huge role in this case, obviously, and this is a hearing, pretrial hearing. But does it all matter in terms of looking at his guilt?
Absolutely. While the sexting doesn't prove that there was an intent to actually commit the death of his child, it does show that there may be issues in the marriage, that he no longer wanted the family, that he wanted to be single. And with the life insurance policies added on top, that goes to show that he wanted financially to be secure and pretty much have a free life. I mean, that's how I would present it to the jury. Clearly there's enough, and he's going to be held to answer at the preliminary hearing, but at the time of trial, the evidence is really stacking up against him.
Do you think this case goes to trial?
If I was the defense attorney, I would try to plead the case out. It's not a case that I would want to take to trial, considering it's a 20. Because you're going to have a jury that's going to decide the guilt of a father who pretty much left his son to death in a car, added with the fact that he was sexting, and added with the fact that he had life insurance policies and did various different internet searches on the topic. I think he's looking at a unanimous verdict of guilt.
You know, I always wonder too, because of digital age and all this information is out there, that record is permanent. And it also puts it in a public sphere, too, because depending on those other women, they have copies of these text messages, I would assume, too. When does the public's perception of this start to play a role? We're in a pretrial situation now, but as a defense attorney, you'd probably take that into account?
Oh, absolutely. Now it's on every channel. You have everyone watching it and talking about it. And he doesn't seem to be a sympathetic man in my eyes, and I think in most people's eyes in the public. So with the strong evidence that is stacking against him, and with the 22-month-old dead, you're going to have a difficult time finding a jury of his peers that know nothing about the case, and even if they did find out the information at the time of trial, that they're really going to keep an open mind. So it's going to be a very difficult case to try for the defense.
Well, I got to tell you, he says he forgot. I want to ask you about forgetfulness versus insanity in terms of how you use it as a defense. We're, though, going to come back after a quick break, watch more of the trial, and Amanda, ask you to sit by as well. We appreciate your expertise on this. Of course, I want to bring in Amanda Manukian right now, who is a criminal defense attorney. And Amanda, I know you're watching this, so here's my question. First, this witness said desperate cries of a man who had just lost his son. That's how he described coming out of his place of business and seeing this whole scene unfold with the man you see there in the center of your screen, the dad, standing outside, his son, baby son, 22 months old, dying in a car seat inside. And then the attorney told him inside that courtroom, Amanda, we don't want you to characterize this. We just want you to give words. Why is that? Why are we watching that?
Well, it's for the defense, it's very important for the witnesses to testify to exactly what the defendant said. Especially if the statements made by the defendant are going to be used as excited utterances, and it's going to show that he was truly devastated. And how could he have been so devastated if he intentionally wanted to kill his son? characterizing it potentially can provide the public and the judge some indirect or not so clear impressions of the witness. So you want to make sure what he specifically said, if it's beneficial to his defense, comes out by someone.
And your point of view, because you've watched this and the detective, we aren't at a trial situation here. What are you seeing unfold today? What does it tell you?
What it's telling me is that the prosecution is developing the stage for a very strong guilt trial. They're starting with a timeline which started with motive, although in a murder case you do not have to prove motive, but in most situations jurors want to hear the why, particularly the father killing a 22-month-old child. And then they're going through the timeline that he researched this. He even researched what it was going to be like to live in prison if all else went wrong for him. So the timeline is very strong, and it goes to show that he planned this act with the intent of having his child dead and collecting on the life insurance and living a free life.
And that's what you say that the prosecution is trying to play out today, and that's what we've been watching unfold in this courtroom. We're going to continue to watch it. Amanda, thank you. Amanda Manukian today. Thank you for being with us.